Matthieu Blazy just debuted as artistic director of Chanel on this new Pret-a-Porter collection, the Spring-Summer 2026 collection at the Grand Palais. And as a Chanel client, I feel in the need to say out loud what I feel about this collection. And with all the respect of the world to Matthieu Blazy and to the entire team. In a nutshell, I think the pieces and the creations, they all look beautiful, but they do not belong in Chanel. And I will go over the collection in detail, but why I feel this way is not because I'm stuck in not even Chanel Coco era, because if we talk about Coco era, I'm gonna kind of dissect all of these the best as I can do so. I'm not stuck in the era of Karl Lagerfeld, but one unique thing about Chanel is that when you see a woman wearing Chanel from a mile away, and you can tell she is wearing Chanel. And this is not the case with this collection. Unfortunately, I see every brand. I see a little bit of Bottega, I see a little bit of Prada, but I don't see the essence of Chanel. Now, I'm gonna go over the collection, give you a little bit of a rundown of this collection in my very humble opinion, but this is the thing. When I buy Chanel, I don't buy Chanel to look like Bottega. I don't buy Chanel to look like Prada. I don't buy Chanel to look like Balenciaga. I buy Chanel to look like Chanel. As I do the same thing if I go and buy something from Hermes, I want to look and have the style of Hermes. And if I love something from, say, I don't know, again, Prada, is because I want to have that essence of Prada. I think keeping the identity of a brand is so important. The essence of Chanel comes from more than 100 years ago, and there are newer brands and not so new brands that they can only wish to have the success and the identity that Chanel has. And what I saw on this runway, it was surprising. I felt as a client also disregarded in a way. And don't get me wrong, some of the pieces are gorgeous, beautifully created, but it honestly felt like a melange of different brands. In fact, I was just, scrolling down on Instagram to see, different opinions and just get a little bit more education about, what other people think, because it's so valid and so important. And one person, if I find it, I will, post it here, but if not, you're gonna forgive me. But he was saying, oh, is giving YSL. Oh, is giving. I don't want Chanel to be giving any other brand. I pay Chanel prices to give me Chanel. And I know you're gonna tell me, Jacqueline, but it needs to be modernized. Chanel was just stuck in time. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I feel Chanel needed a refresh. You can call it modernize a little. Yeah, that's fine. It needed a refresh. In fact, if you watch any of my shopping vlogs, I think one of the very last ones that I did, I mentioned it, like how I felt the quality of the clothing wasn't up to par with the pricing. That's why I didn't purchase any clothing, but instead I went ahead and purchased, I think it was a bag or a pair of shoes or something like that. I don't even remember, but I mentioned it. I know many of us, we have been asking for Chanel to be more meticulous about their production, to upgrade their quality, their leather, to bring back the gold-plated hardware in the handbags, and so many more things, correct? But to give us what we saw on this runway, and by the way, this video is purely commentary, clients' feedback, if you wish to say so, with all the love that I have for Chanel. In fact, usually I'm one of those clients that I will text pretty much immediately one of my client advisors and ask, hey, can you put me on the wait list for these, or can I even pre-order these, and so forth, those things. Well, on this collection, honestly, I didn't do that. And before filming this video, I was thinking, should I film it, should I don't? But then again, I was having a conversation with my client advisor, because a couple of the things that I have on my wish list, they arrive, and then today morning I received another text from another client advisor asking, do you want to pre-order anything from this new collection? And it's not that it never happens, but I was surprised about that text. I was really surprised about the text. I was like, really? And then the day prior, I had been talking with another of my client advisors, and I was asking, hey, do you have this product available? Did it ever came back in stock? And in the conversation at the very end, she also asked me if I wanted to pre-order something from the spring summer 2026 collection. So I don't know, but I'm trying to read through the lines, and it seems like there may be something boiling behind the scenes between clients. I want to know though, do you enjoy the collection? Which are the pieces that you really love? I have been having conversations left and right with many of my friends that we enjoy shopping at Chanel, and we all kind of agree in the same thing. This collection looks very unclear, very masculine too. Nothing that is wrong. I know in the last few years there's a couple trends going on, right? The quiet luxury look, not too bold, but that's not Chanel. Chanel, you, like I was telling you before, you can see from a mile away a lady wearing Chanel. And so quiet luxury, not that much with Chanel to begin with. And another trend too is those 80s vibe, also the oversized kind of jackets and suit, which I don't think they suit everybody. I'm very honest with you. Can it be done in Chanel terms? Absolutely yes, but it is nothing that I feel that a Chanel client will love to have. If I want to look a little bit more masculine, I maybe go to another brand that does kind of those, like shirts and volume kind of situation. They don't look particularly good on me. I'm only 5 and a cherry and very short, so my profile, it doesn't suit me. But if I want something like that, definitely I will turn, I don't know, to Prada. I will not buy anything from Balenciaga. Don't get me wrong, but no. That's yeah, no, Balenciaga is completely that for me. But yes, the pieces of this collection look very masculine, very like boxy, not form-fitting. And one thing that I noticed is that the runway didn't include any models that they were from, different sizes, different bodies. I would have loved to have seen a little bit of that. But the good thing, perhaps, if we, see the good aspect about the collection itself, is that because the pieces are not so form-fitted, they are not for, like the very feminine, ultra feminine look. The pieces may fit more comfortably for different body shapes, although Chanel offers tailoring. So every time that you go to Chanel, and if you need something to be adjusted, they will offer you tailoring. Now, the scenario for this collection was pretty impressive. I really love the whole universe. For those who we know Coco, not personally, obviously on this case, we know that she loved everything that had to do with the universe, with astrology, with constellations. And definitely on this collection, I saw the usage of different codes. Not only codes, but also colors. White, black, the reds were there, the coats of the constellations, the stars, also the wheat, the feathers that Chanel herself used to use quite a bit. I think it was 1960, something like that, that she implemented a lot of feathers. We saw a lot of that. We didn't saw the camellia, which I hope that they are not getting rid of the camellia, because I have also a few pieces, I own a few pieces of their high jewelry line of the camellia, and I want to keep adding some more, so please don't get rid of the camellia, for goodness sake. But yeah, the coats were there. There were references from the past. One thing that I think is important to be reminded, some people, I did a comment on Instagram, not on my personal Instagram, but on a post of Chanel, So some people were like, oh, but you don't know that Chanel was rebellious and she created this look that looked a little bit more masculine, that it wasn't like so feminine. I get it, yes, but also you have to go back in history that if it wasn't for Karl Lagerfeld that was at the lead of Chanel for, I think, 4 decades, almost 4 decades, Chanel was going downhill and he was the one who brought it back. And I can tell you that with confidence. I'm the youngest of 6 children, and my mom had me when she was 41 years old. And let me tell you that she didn't have the best like opinion about Chanel, like she didn't feel attracted to it. It wasn't until Karl reshaped Chanel that she started to be attracted again to Chanel. Chanel ready to wear, Chanel bags, Chanel, I mean, like beauty and everything in between. So there's this chip here that Karl created it to rebrand Chanel. And I'm sure Matthieu wants to do the same thing, but I feel like it was too abrupt, too just sudden, too just like here. The first model coming out of the runway, oh my gosh, it was like, no, please, no, don't tell me. I don't want to see these. I felt that way. I know you may feel it's an exaggeration, but this channel is just for, having fun, talking about things that they are not that important. There are more important things in life. But anyhow, going back to the entire scenery, I love the music though. Whoever was taking care of the soundtrack and what music to play, it was fabulous. It was a mix of the 80s vibe. I even heard a little bit of flamenco in there, Spanish songs. It was pretty epic. The music was epic. Now we know Nicole Kidman is once again the face and ambassador for Chanel, which I find it so great. Now, when she arrived to the show, she arrived with jeans. Now, granted, the jeans, obviously Chanel, they are made out of cashmere, something that we know, like this is something that is very special for Matthieu. He likes to play with textiles, and we see that a lot on this collection. There are some pieces that they look as if they are tweed, but they are actually made out of silk. I even heard that there's some pieces that they have horse hair in between. So that is the part that I enjoy about Matthieu Blazy. I don't want to say of the collection, but I love that innovation or opportunities for those who manufacture textile to bring something innovative. But I really think he's still stuck in Bottega, and I think he can do much more than what we saw on this runway. Something that is not, you see, I feel like he's trying to reshape the brand. I think in one interview, if I'm gonna quote it here, he said that he saw too many things that they were beautiful and pretty, and he wanted it to scratch that and do something different. Well, don't scratch it that much. And don't crumble it as much as you did with the reissue bag. I think in a way that was kind of, I mean, you can call it art or you can call it disrespect. One or the other way, or just land in the middle. I honestly feel like it's a useless bag. If you're gonna buy it, I mean, I'm sure it's because you want to keep kind of like an artistic piece, because it doesn't serve the purpose of a bag. Also, the reissue, I think it was the most quiet luxury bag for Chanel, the one that doesn't have the logo. If you recall, it was Karl Lagerfeld who created the CC logo. If you go back and see the reissue 2.55, it has that typical Mademoiselle logo, the bijou chain, not the intertwined chain as we know now. And it's not that I'm not risky. In fact, I was one of the very first ones unboxing here on YouTube, and so excited to have in my collection a Chanel 22 bag that so many people call it a trash bag, and I'm like, no, that's such a cool different bag for Chanel. So yes, I'm ready and in acceptance. Same thing with the Chanel 25 bags. I have two, another one is coming too. Another one is coming. It's one bag that before Dua Lipa start showing it, and we saw it all over. It was already on my wish list, and I bought it right away. So I'm open to that, but I'm not open to, putting this bag under a car, a truck, and just run over it. I know it may be kind of like a take. When Carl went to the archivals, he said that he found a crumble bag, but in this way, no way. There were other bags too, like this Nemo bag. It reminded me to Finding Nemo. Then we have this egg bag, which, I mean, yeah, the egg, the feathers, the birds, the bird in the cage. I'm like, finally, I find something spring here. There's Easter going on. What is this? I cannot put myself to think to see this bird earring at the jewelry case at Chanel. I just can't. I feel like, oh my gosh, is this Zara? Is this H&M? Is this Mango? Not even Mango. I mean, like, what? What are you doing? What are you doing? And that egg bag, I mean, literally, it looks like Kolgaya. It looks like something that you can even get at Amazon too. I'm like, no. Now, the Constellation Miniature, that's something that Chanel always does, one that is special to the collection. But I feel that there was no clear concept. Everything was everywhere. Perhaps that's why he thought, well, the universe, because there's so many ideas and I want to propose different things. And yes, this melange is gonna appeal to everybody, but there's no clear concept, and I see too many brands in that collection that Chanel gets lost. Chanel gets completely lost. The shoes, the square toe, oh no, I don't know. I know a square toe is going to come back at a certain point in time, but I don't think it looks good. And then these shoes that they look so much Bottega, oh my gosh. No, yeah. No. It's not giving the vibe. And even this poor model trying to walk with one shoe on her hand. Let me tell you, that shoe actually, I was like, okay, color combination, black and white. Okay, now it's giving Chanel. I didn't saw pearls for a spring summer collection. Again, I saw everything that looked more winter. We didn't saw any sunglasses. The accessories were very vague. If anything, everything feathers, everything that you can find anywhere. I'm like, sorry to say it, but even some stuff that I feel like I can find them at Target. And not that that's wrong, but you see what I mean? Like, even the white shirt. Okay, I think the concept is, to bring something that you can wear every day. I like that the shirt has the chain at the bottom, so it gives structure, and a good shape to the shirt itself. You have the beep too, a little Chanel here, very discreet. But are you gonna pay, I mean, let's be honest, ready to wear from Chanel, most pieces start at around $3,000 and then they go way up. Are you gonna pay that much for a white shirt? I don't know. Would you? Are they gonna change prices? Are we gonna see a mix of prices now? And one of the things that really caught my attention is that there's so many people talking about good regarding this collection from Chanel, but they are not clients from Chanel. Will they really become a client of Chanel and buy at the price of Chanel? Or they are just saying it because of saying it? Does it make sense? There's no love, there's no connection there. I don't know. Sorry if I'm skeptical, but I just don't feel this collection as I wish I did. Which pieces of the collection I will say yes? This bag, discreet. There's not the quilting or the puffiness. I love burgundy. It looks good. This other bag, no, with a Chanel stamp outside. Bad taste. No. Hopefully the leather stay become better. They look very soft, squishy. Yeah. I didn't saw any caviar leathers in there either. This suede bag, too light. It's not gonna serve the purpose of, say, a duffel bag either. It's kind of like a bowling bag. The feathers on the head. Well, that, I have to take it that Coco did it on her time. It's nothing that Matthieu created, but we have seen Matthieu not too long ago showcasing it on a runway for Bottega. So I think he needs to reshape take client feedback and create his new Chanel. As he did so well for his new Bottega, he needs to create his new Chanel so that way it can be truly an era for Chanel. And I'm genuinely talking about this collection not as a, what you want to call me, an influencer, a content creator, but as a Chanel client. I just want to give this feedback. I don't think Matthieu Blazy will ever watch this video, but I just want to express myself that I appreciate the collection. If you were to take that collection outside a Chanel collection, you will be like beautiful. I mean, the flow of the skirts, the different patterns, the dresses. If they were out of Chanel, I mean, they are beautiful. I cannot deny. They are truly, truly beautiful. It just doesn't fully speak about Chanel. I think it was like a huge change. It's like as crumbled up as it was a Reissue bag. It felt like he was crumbling up entire Chanel and tossing on a bowl. That's it. I'm done. We're over. Let's redo all of these. And I think it's just a disregard of clients. There are some pieces to rescue, but there are some other ones that, you know, like this sheer kind of top that, no, not of my taste necessarily. You know, he's excited and I'm excited for him, for the team. I really love how that entire show ended with the model, which I think she's a third or fourth model of color to close a collection like such. And she was just so happy. That means so much. I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful to see in a team. I think we just have to wait and see. I would love to hear from you. Which are the pieces that you think they are, you know, like, yes, this is exciting here. And this is completely my opinion. I know a lot of editors have been giving like, you know, 10 stars, 100 stars reviews on this collection, but I'm not saying that Chanel is paying for these reviews, but they are clients of such publications and it will be hard to see otherwise. I think there's more to see, and I hope the best for the new Chanel era. What about you? Let's continue that conversation while you're at it. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell because you don't want to miss any of my uploads or the unboxing of what's inside this bag and something else that is coming on the mail. And if you're not done watching my content, I will be leaving a couple other videos at the end of the screen that I'm sure you're going to love. See you then.